Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Code. I'm your host, Ashley Coffey, and today I'm going to talk to you about digital identity theft and what to do if it happens to you. So let's dive in. Well, not too long ago, I found myself a victim of identity theft, and I had to go through the process of mitigating that. And I learned a lot along the way, and I thought to myself, I think other people need to know this because it happens more often than we think it does. And it's nice to have somewhat of a checklist framework to help guide you in the right direction in the sea of things on the internet. So consider this a guide based on my own personal experience. This is not legal advice. So if you have a lawyer, I recommend consulting with them. And luckily, this wasn't a extreme case of identity theft. This would be on the lower spectrum in my specific instance. But I know identity theft is a very large spectrum, ranging from small scale to large scale. So depending on your situation, things might look different for you. This is just based on my own personal experience. So the first step that I did whenever I found out that I was a victim of identity theft is actually go into my credit report and put a fraud alert on it. And it's free to do this. You can actually set up a free Equifax or TransUnion account and go in there and add a fraud alert. What this does is add another layer of protection that requires anyone who is pulling your credit to read that and basically be alerted that there's a fraud alert. So they have to contact you to verify that you are indeed pulling your credit report for whatever reason, for a car loan or credit card, mortgage, you name it. This stays on your credit report, I believe, for a year or 6 months. I'll have to double check that. But it's nice to have that there as, I don't know, peace of mind. But after I did that, and I didn't want to freeze my credit report because once I learned more about this specific instance of what happened to me, I was able to make an assumption on if that would benefit me more than not. So I looked at my email account and I recognized that I received an email a few days back about welcome to your new Amazon store card. And it was from Synchrony Bank. And, I get spam all the time. And sometimes these emails don't look very auspicious, I would say. And this one, I didn't think too much of it. I was like, oh, spam, not going to think of it. And then I got another email a few days later saying, hey, your card is on your way to you. And then I started to think, okay, something feels a little bit off here. And then lo and behold, I started getting alerts saying that my information had been used to open a new card. I have an account on creditkarma.com, which is free to use, and that helps me keep track of any fraudulent alerts or data breaches, things that might be happening to my information, personal information that I want to stay ahead from. So getting these multiple little red flags started to indicate something's up and I should pay attention to it. So I started reading what to do if this happens to you. I immediately went to the ftc.gov website to report digital fraud. And most people don't realize that this website and resource exists. And I want to share more information about it and how to use it. So the website itself is called identitytheft.gov. It's a official government website, and if you want to know if the website that you're on is an official government website or not, the best way to do that is to look at the header. All government website headers have a little banner that says an official website of the United States government, and there's a drop-down menu that says, here's how you know. Official.gov and HTTPS secure.gov website. So two tips there. But there's an option here to get started on reporting identity theft and get a recovery plan. The recovery plan is really just a checklist for you to feel better about the steps that you're going to take based on your situation. But I found it to be helpful. You can also, look over the different types of rights that you have and different types of warning signs for identity theft. It's a great resource, and there's also credit bureau contact info and other helpful information. So highly recommend bookmarking this. Hopefully you never need it, but if you do, there you go. So when you get to the identitytheft.gov website, I recommend registering for a free account. Yes, you're just going to have to do it because you're going to submit an identity theft report. And once you click on the Get Started button, there's different options here. You can choose, I want to report identity theft. You can choose, someone has in my information and tried to use it, and I'm worried about identity theft. My information was exposed in a data breach. Ahem. That happens a lot. It's been happening a lot. AT&T, you name it. I mean, I feel like every company has had some sort of data breach. Poshmark. You can actually report these, and I highly recommend that you do, to hold companies accountable for having higher security standards, especially when it comes to private information such as your name, address, birthday, social security number, security questions of your mom's favorite cat, you name it. Or you can choose something else here. I chose, I want to report identity theft, and there's a subcategory section for you to choose from, such as credit card accounts, employment or taxes, telephone, mobile, or utility accounts, because that happens, government benefits, debit, checking, or savings accounts. In my case, I'm going to choose credit card accounts. Continue. And then it asks you some more questions about how was your information misused. And I'm going to choose this. My information was used to open a fraudulent credit card account. So continue. And then it's going to ask for specific details based on your information. And this is where you can choose what company or bank issued the credit card. When did you first notice the problem? If you know, tell them when the account was first open, how many charges have been made to the account, if any. Thankfully, I did not have any charges made to the credit card account that was opened under my name. You can list the account number, and if you contacted the company, you'll list the company representative that you spoke to, their phone number and email address. So one quick note here is that it was really hard for me to find an actual phone number to call Synchrony Bank that supports and services the Amazon Prime store card. And once I found it, actually how I found it is through the terms and conditions. So if you look at the footer of websites and you're not easily able to navigate to contact sections, I recommend taking a look at the privacy policy, terms and conditions, and other things that have links on them. If you click on them, likely it's going to take you to either a text page or a PDF. In this case, it was a PDF, and I searched for Command F on my Mac, searched for contact info or email, and I was able to actually get to a phone number to talk to someone. After about 15 minutes through a call tree, I talked to a woman and told her that, hey, someone opened up an account under my name. It was not me. I want to report this. And she took down some information, definitely scripted, but assured me that they would look into it and that they would freeze the account, close it, all that good stuff. So I got a letter in the mail, I'd say a week later, saying, hey, we've investigated and assessed that it wasn't you that opened your account, which I knew that. But it's good to have those letters of formality to keep them for your records, just in case you do ever need them. So 3 layers here. Let's do a little bit of recap. First, I went and put a fraud alert on my credit report by going to Equifax or TransUnion. I did Equifax and created a free account, and then went and put a fraud alert. Just so you know, credit bureaus are a private company. It's not a government service, and you do have to pay for certain things in those credit bureaus. So just keep in mind, tools that are out there like Credit Karma can let you view your credit report without having to pay for it. It's a hot topic, but I digress there. So that was the first step. The second step was to file a digital fraud report on the ftc.gov website, or go straight to identitytheft.gov, fill it out. It'll give you a specific action plan, and then call the specific bank or issuing cardholder, whatever entity issued whatever it was to the person that's trying to obtain your identity. So that's really great. It's very thorough. I was impressed by how easy it was to use. And there's also a chatbot there if you need to use it. I enjoyed it because it allowed me to ask, frequently asked questions, and kind of what's a timeline of getting things resolved. But the beauty of creating an account on ftc.gov is that you can go in and check the status of your report. And it's just good to have a paper trail for that as well. And once I had all of the verification documents that, one, I did not do this, I filed a dispute. That was the next step. I filed a dispute on my credit report to have that inquiry removed. If those of you that are out there aren't familiar with how credit reports work, when a creditor runs your credit report, it's considered a hard ding, which counts against you. And since I didn't pull that credit report, I want it off because it takes 2 years for it to fall off, and that's a long time. So I was able to do that and successfully get it off. But it did impact my credit score by some points. I would say less than 10, but still that's less than 10. And, over time that may adjust and it may be different for everyone, but it was so easy for a person to open up a credit card under my account and my name without me even knowing. And this is not the first time I've had a weird, fishy instance of what I think was identity theft or trying to be identity theft or just digital fraud that's pretty sophisticated. Another instance I had was through Ulta and Afterpay. So we might get emails that are like, congrats on your new purchase or your order is on the way. Thanks for your order. We'll let you know when it's shipped out. I received 2 emails this summer from Afterpay and Ulta saying, hey, congrats on your new Afterpay account. And I was like, I didn't open up a new Afterpay account. What are you talking about? And I called them actually and wanted to let them know, hey, I think there might be a data breach or some kind of security incident because I did not open up an Afterpay account and it looks like someone did. And they were not listening to me and basically told me, hey, you might want to check your family to see if they made an account or they charged something. It's usually a family member. And I wanted to be like, I don't have family. Like, I have very minimal amount of family. And the ones that do, like, don't live here in Oklahoma and do not have access to any of my bank account information to make a purchase. So it felt a little gaslighty, but I tried to warn them. So I looked at the other 2 emails that I received, and they were from Ulta, which I shop at Ulta not often, but I very rarely order something. And it said, hey, your order is being shipped to you. And it was for 2 like Christian Dior lip glosses that were like $80. I would never spend $80 on lip gloss, for the record. But I looked up the address that it was being shipped to, and it was a real address, I believe in Maryland or somewhere on the East Coast. And it had my name, which was really, and my phone number too. So that was a little strange. And I tried to look up the order number and the emails that were sent to me to see if they were actually real legitimate orders. Couldn't find anything. Called Ulta. They weren't helpful. So decided, let's just go physically walk into my local Ulta store. And I did. And I said, please run these 2 order numbers to tell me if they're real or fake. They ran them. Turns out they're fake. But I went back and looked at the emails, and they were so sophisticated that somehow they were able to replicate the digital signature from Ulta, where it looked like a legitimate email based on the technical knowledge I have of learning and knowing how to spot real and fake emails. So this was pretty sophisticated. I never clicked on any links. Another layer that I did was, if you want to check hyperlinks, and if you're wondering if they might be malicious or not, you can copy the hyperlink instead of opening it. And then there's an option, there's a tool online, if you Google search malicious hyperlink tester. And there's a few checks up there. There's NordVPN, IPQS. What this does, it checks malicious URLs for malware or phishing. So you can paste that link there in the URL, and it will let you know if it's been reported or detected or, something weird. I know it's another layer of things you have to do in the digital age, but just at this point, we're here, we've arrived. Please be proactive in your digital hygiene, I would say. And what I mean by that is try to update your passwords at least once a year. I know it's annoying, but it's highly useful. If you use tools like iCloud Keychain or LastPass or OnePass, different flavors out there, and my personal preference is iCloud Keychain because it's natively baked in and therefore it has the same level of security and encryption that Apple, has as a standard since it's baked in. But there's many tools out there that can help you manage your passwords and update them to be more secure. But with all the data breaches that are happening, it's just a constant barrage of you don't know where your data is going. So instead of having to freak out and waste time and be reactive to someone potentially logging into your account, highly recommend changing your passwords. I am a technical person. I've worked in technology for a long time, and I'm really good at spotting these things. But that's not to mean it doesn't happen to us. I had no control over who was able to obtain my information to open up a credit card. I mean, at this point, I've had so many companies have a data breach of my information, a former employer included. So yeah, that's been fun. It's a wild ride. Definitely take a time to go over your credit reports, your responsibility to do it. And at the end of the day, it does affect you in many ways. But also remember that the credit system has not been around for a long time. So that's also a good reminder. But I hope this has been helpful for you in some way, shape, or form. I know it can be scary and it can feel violating when someone has taken your information, but just know that you have tools at your disposal to use. There are resources. Don't freak out. Just take it one step at a time. You're going to be fine. And again, this is not legal advice, so consult with a lawyer if you need to on that. But again, identitytheft.gov, Equifax, talk to other people out there too that may have experienced something similar to help give you some guides. But it was pretty effortless on my side, and I had as good of experience as you can have when having your identity stolen. I know it could have been much worse, and I'm grateful that it wasn't. I would probably still be working on untangling all of that now. But yeah, please don't steal other people's information. We don't have time for it. I'm a business owner and a podcaster and wear a lot of hats. And the last thing I have time for is to file reports on a digital identity being stolen. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If something didn't make sense, happy to guide you in the right direction. But if you found this helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe and share this episode with a friend. You never know who might need it. I love finding new listeners in different countries and hearing how they are finding different bits of information useful on the podcast. And really, at the end of the day, I'm doing this for you. I want to make technology accessible for everyone and make it more approachable. So if you know someone in your family that needs this information, send it over. And if you have any suggestions or you want to know a little bit more about a topic or a particular person, innovator, expert in the field, let me know because I'd love to bring them on the show. Until next time, stay hydrated and do something nice for someone. Bye.